Romans 8:28. Finding good after a painful breakup from one Bible verse, SW. He left on a Thursday. No warning, no long talk. Just a note on the counter and the words, "I'm sorry. I can't do this anymore." And just like that, the life I thought I was building fell apart. We'd been together for 6 years. Engaged for 2. Church, going, worship leading, prayer before meals, kind of couple. Everyone said we were meant to be. But behind closed doors, we were drifting. He wanted space. I wanted answers. He wanted freedom. I wanted a future. Still, I held on because we'd prayed together. We'd planned a life. I believed God had brought him into my story. So when he walked away, it felt like God did too. I stopped praying, stopped singing. I stopped believing that verse I had quoted so confidently so many times. And we know that in all things, God works for the good of those who love him, who have been called according to his purpose. Because how could this be good? The weeks that followed were brutal. Wedding plans canceled. Friends divided. My heart shattered. Nights were the worst when silence screamed and memories haunted every corner of my apartment. But one night, something shifted. I had been scrolling through old pictures on my phone, torturing myself with what could have been when I opened my Bible app by accident. It landed, of all place, San Romans 8. I rolled my eyes at first. Really, God? But I kept reading, not just verse 28, but the whole chapter, and something began to soften. Paul talked about suffering, about how even creation groans for redemption, about how the Spirit prays for us when we don't have words, about how nothing, not heartbreak, not betrayal, not even laws can separate us from God's love. For the first time in weeks, I wept not from pain, but from release. I realized I'd been blaming God for breaking what he may have only allowed because he saw something I didn't see. Maybe he wasn't being cruel. Maybe he was being kind enough to remove what I was begging for, to give me what I truly needed. That night, I started journaling again. I wrote Romans 8:28 on the first page. God works all things for good. Not some, not the easy ones. All. I didn't wake up healed, but I did wake up hopeful. Slowly, I started to rebuild not my old life, but a new one. I took a trip I'd postponed for years. I reconnected with friends I'd pushed aside. I joined a small group where I didn't pretend to be okay. And there, surrounded by people who'd walked through cancer, divorce, addiction, and loss, saw the pattern. God really does use pain to shape purpose. 6 months later, I was offered a job with a nonprofit that works with women recovering from trauma. I hesitated Who was I to help others? But in the interview, I shared my story. The tears, the emptiness, and the hope that somehow, some way, God could still make something beautiful from the ashes. They hired me on the spot. Today, I look back and still feel the sting of that Thursday. But I no longer see it as the end of my story. It was the turning point. Romans 8:28 wasn't a bandage for my pain. It was a doorway into a deeper understanding of redemption. God didn't just promise to fix my life. He promised to use it, and He is. Share this if you believe God still writes the best stories.